I think you can count one. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Process This. We're finally back after a little hiatus. Sorry, there was no content, no NBA going on, but we are finally back. It is NBA time, everybody.
Yes.
NBA season is back in full swing. We started off with two great games. Defending champions Raptors took on the new look Pelicans, and the Raptors defended their title. Pretty happy about that. I like myself some Pascal Siakam. Spicy P, I love seeing that. And then after that, we had Showtime. Showtime in LA, Lakers, Clippers, and Clippers came out victorious.
Yes.
A lot of new faces on the first night, and let me tell you, it was fun to watch. So, as we start off every season, me being two on this show, but we start off with pick'ems. So we're going to start off this show with way too early pick'ems for the 2019-2020 NBA season. So we'll be doing MVP, Rookie of the Year, MIP, Defensive Player of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, Coach of the Year, and finally, the champions.
Yep.
So let's start off nice and simple.
Yes.
Let's start off Coach of the Year.
Oh,
Let's start off. No. We're going to give some coaches some appreciation today.
All right.
I mean, we're in unison here. We need to understand your pick.
right.
So we have Doc Rivers as our Coach of the Year early on.
Okay. Full disclosure.
Who do you have?
I have Brett Brown. Now you might say why.
I am saying why. Why?
I just think that they're going to give it to a guy that has not gotten it yet. Doc Rivers already has a Coach of the Year under his belt.
That's fair.
And who makes the finals, who I think that the 76ers are going to win the East and make the finals. That's purely my reasoning. Now, once again, Doc Rivers is a very good pick because I was thinking the Clippers are going to make it to the finals too. But I'm playing the media game here. Like, they'll typically want to give.
See, media-wise,
the
media loved to just torch him last season. On top of that, a lot of this team's success, I really feel like, is not going to come from coaching. I'm pretty sure majority of this team's success is going to come from this team's raw talent.
Oh, I'm sure, but I'm just saying that.
It may be similar to like a Dwayne Casey kind of feel, where the Raptors were the one seed and they made it very far, and he did end up winning it. I can see that argument.
That's what I'm saying.
I can see
give
that.
it to a guy that has not won it yet. Takes a team that, the 76ers are good. Like, we all know they're good. But if you take them to the finals, you feel as though, all right, this guy deserves it. Does that kind of feeling.
All right, let's move on to most improved player.
Yes.
This, actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll go. We all have something different for this one. So, you can go first.
Yeah.
We'll keep it with you.
Most improved, I do have Brandon Ingram.
And another why. I don't get it. Brandon Ingram sucks. I'm going to say it right now. He's horrible. He didn't live up to the hype, and he's not going to.
I don't think he's that bad. I think with the Pelicans,
he's not bad.
I think with the Pelicans fully healthy, that team's going to be, even if they're not, world beaters, that team's going to be one to keep their eyes on. And Brandon Ingram's going to put up, stats. Like last night,
he'll put up a lot of empty stats. I think.
He put up 22. And once again, I feel that this is another award that people aren't terribly going to be looking at,
that's true.
watching the games and feeling it. They're just going to look at the stats. And
I think a lot of times
they're going to see Brandon Ingram put up close to triple doubles, and they're going to be like, "Oh, he's back," and then give it.
I don't think. See, I think what's going to happen with Brandon Ingram this season is going to be a lot similar to what happened with Zach LaVine last season, where he's on a team, especially if Zion stays injured, and he doesn't come back, and that's going to obviously be their number one option when he's healthy. I think it's going to be a lot similar to Zach LaVine last year, where everyone at the beginning of the year was saying, "Oh, look at him! He's putting up the numbers. He's going to be most improved player. He looks great." But those numbers just lead to empty stats, no wins whatsoever. You look at last year, who won it? I mean, it was Siakam, and the Raptors were the number one seed the entire year. And Siakam, even though his stat line wasn't amazing compared to Zach LaVine's, compared to D'Angelo Russell's, a lot of those guys are putting up empty stats on teams that had no one to give the ball to. So I just don't think, even if he puts up those numbers, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, my take on Brandon Ingram, it didn't feel like he put up 22 points last
year. It just felt like he was.
Feel it.
He just felt like part of the system, and they didn't have a number one option, so he happened to be scoring.
Siakam had a whole narrative going and everything. He only had 17 points per game, but he was still clearly the favorite to win.
Yeah, he came out as a no one out of nowhere. Who did you have for MIP?
I had Bam Adebayo for the Miami Heat.
That's a good pick. I like that pick.
Third year, no more Hassan Whiteside, so Bam's going to get the full
That's
time.
huge. I like that pick.
I feel confident in him, and he's also been working with Chris Bosh apparently on stretching the court, shooting threes, longer balls. So I feel a lot more. I feel like Bam is ready to finally have that year and become a more central piece of that offense. It's just the question is whether it happens this year or next year, in my opinion.
I was thinking the same mindset last year in my picks when I picked Jared Allen. A center who finally has room to grow. You know, last year, I guess it wasn't really last year. It was 2 years ago. Brook Lopez left. But still, Jared Allen coming into the league, he kind of built up. Wasn't really the main option at center to begin with, but now coming into his third year, second year, he became the number one option. Very similar situation for Bam. I like that pick. I have Markelle Fultz. Blast from the past 3 years ago, this man's going to come back. He's going to be a beast. 2017 first overall pick is going to have a comeback season this year. I'm calling it right now.
Well, I'll say the thing about this award is what we need to think about is that whether this is an award, that's going to be one that's given for a player that had a bad season last year and has a good season this year, or a player that is still improving. Because I feel as though the Bam pick is one that's still improving, because Bam, over the course of the last 2 years, has had better and better seasons.
Well, I mean, I think the whole point of the MIP award is to give it to the player who has progressed the most, whether or not you had a bad season before and you came back and were a lot better, or if you're just a really fast-growing young player in the league. I think it doesn't matter what the narrative was the year before. If you have a significant jump in your stat line, in how you play, in just how the team works around you, and also in all shape and form, that's who should deserve MIP.
Let's remember, Victor Oladipo won the award not too long ago.
He was coming to the league. He had been in the league for a good bit.
Yeah, he's been good in Orlando, and he was very bad in OKC.
He wasn't even that bad in OKC. He just put up the same stat line, if not a little bit worse than he was in Orlando, and just people were expecting him to jump.
I thought he was better in Orlando.
He was better in Orlando.
Then he kind of had more like a bounce back year for Indiana and got really, really good at that all-NBA level.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a give and take there.
The thing with Fultz for me, though, is that the narrative is there for him to have an MIP kind of season. I mean, it's certainly there, and if he were to jump into that improved position where he's playing better, putting up more points, and especially in an environment like Orlando, where you can put up those empty stats, look good. It's a similar situation with Ingram, where he's going to be putting up empty stats, and I think that may cost him in the race. But given his narrative from seasons before, people thought, oh, he's a complete bust. There's no way this guy comes back from what he's doing. His shooting form is horrible, yada, yada, yada. If he comes back and proves all that wrong, along with giving a good stat line, I think that would give him the edge over someone like Alonzo Ball or Bam Adebayo, or even someone like Zach LaVine could return again, maybe compete like something. I think the narrative that's set up for Fultz will push him forward.
Fultz's main priority has to be just to have a season this year.
That's honestly his main priority. Now, we all had an agreement on Defensive Player of the Year for once. Once, we all agreed on one player, and that was Anthony Davis. You had a butt there. I didn't like that.
I didn't have a butt.
Okay. I thought you were hesitating on that pick for a second. I thought you were hesitating. My bad. But either way, we all agreed on Defensive Player of the Year. We all think, Anthony Davis is going to take over on defense.
I will say on top of that, I do think that I think that it's already kind of written that he's going to win it.
Yeah, a lot of the time with these awards, it gets written pre-season.
It's already been put that Anthony Davis is going to be
the defensive guy.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's a chance Rudy Gobert three-peats with defensive.
No way. I don't think he should have won it last year. I really don't think he should have. I thought they were better defensive players that year. He wasn't leading the league in blocks, and that's his best attribute as a player. And I mean, his rebounding wasn't as good as I thought it could have been. I thought he could have been a 13, 14 rebound per game player, and he wasn't. I honestly think out of all the centers that they could have picked, I mean, not all the centers. I mean, obviously you have someone like Joel Embiid. I thought last year's race, Andre Drummond should have been in the race a lot more than what. I mean, he was top 10 in steals and blocks. He led the league in rebounds, and he's just all around a good defensive player, and no one talks about it. So I want to see him in talks again this year. I hope he is. But I'm with Anthony Davis.
I'll say I think that this award will be someone in LA.
Yeah, I do think so. It's either going to be whether it be Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis.
I was getting ready to say
even depending on the season he has, even I'd say LeBron James may have a bit of a talk. I mean, depending on how he plays.
Could conceively.
He could possibly be in talks as well.
Almost every award every year.
That except for Rookie of the Year. Only Ben Simmons can repeat in that.
Coach of the Year. LeBron James.
He probably should have won that a couple times with the Cavs. But.
Now, speaking of Rookie of the Year, who do we have as our? We all have 3 different picks for our rookies as well.
Same. You start.
Yes, I want to hear yours.
Yeah, so I went with R.J. Barrett. I went a little bit off the beaten path here because to go against what you're going to say eventually, Zion Williamson, I can't give awards to guys who are only going to play like half the season. This is why I never picked Joel Embiid to win MVP. Because you can't show up for, 3/4 of the year and expect to be given an award, even if you play really well. So I'm going against Zion there. I'm taking R.J. instead just because I think he's going to get a lot of looks. and it might be more of a volume thing as opposed to an efficiency thing, in my opinion.
A lot of the
New York.
guys we have
They're shooting a lot.
Yeah.
I think you just get a lot of score point, you get a lot of scores, and eventually you get all these points that just rack up. It might not be the most efficient year, like his three-point shot. There's some questions there, but I still think he'll have enough to get this award.
That is fair. That is fair. I have Kobe White as my pick. I am a massive Kobe White fan. He's by far my favorite rookie in this class, and I think he's going into a Bulls team that has a lot of potential this year to do some damage. Not maybe not necessarily like playoff damage, but in terms of like messing up other teams' like schedule and their records. I think that this Bulls could, as they're developing as a young team with the young core of Markkanen, Levine, Wendell Carter Jr., and now Kobe White. I think that's a really strong core four. Am I forgetting anybody? I don't think I am. But either way.
Otto Porter Jr.?
I mean, yeah, I guess him too. But like, I think this Bulls team is going to be real. I think Kobe White is going to take over a lot of minutes from Chris Dunn, and it's going to happen quickly. I think it's going to happen on early in the season. I have him on one of my fantasy teams. I'm ready for it.
Well,
and
technically, they have Satoransky.
Yeah, Satoransky's here. I think they may start to transition him into more of like a combo guard.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's bigger, I believe.
Well,
he's a bit of a taller guard.
I actually have the Bulls starters right now from their first game that's going on right now as we're filming. Zach LaVine and Satoransky are the guards. Otto Porter and Markkanen.
Let's see, White has 4 minutes. Is Dunn playing at all?
Nope. Well, actually, no, he has played 2 minutes.
Okay, well then if anything, you know what, I may see Dunn as like a trade piece going on if Kobe White continues to play how I think he's going to.
Yeah.
But that's who I got. Now you,
yes.
And I have something to say about this, but continue.
Yes, so I have Zion with the predication that he does, not get hurt. Obviously, we can't project injuries.
Yeah.
We can't project injuries.
Does not get hurt again?
Yes.
Again.
So essentially comes back around, Christmas, I guess.
Yeah.
Is
He
the
probably,
dedicated?
they said, what, 8 to 10 weeks?
Yes.
6 to 8 weeks.
We'll go with 8 weeks. He has an 8-week timeline.
All right, yeah. So sometime
Give
in
or
December.
take.
Sometime in December, he's going to come back. If he plays continuously throughout that, I think, once again, this is another type of media type thought. He plays well,
I think his rookie case is going to be very similar to Joel Embiid's rookie year.
I was actually going to say, sans injury, Blake Griffin.
Similar.
Highlights, all that, scoring points.
I think the big hyper on Zion because he's injured, I think he's going to have a very similar rookie year to Joel Embiid when he was out for the first 3 years, came back, played 30, 32 games, and they were all 20-point performances plus. They all looked amazing. And then you had someone like a Kobe White or a Malcolm Brogdon who had a really good season for a rookie, just overall he played all 82 games, but compare it to the 32 segment we got of a potential superstar in the league. I think it's going to be really close race just because of the name and the media and things like that. I said this in the beginning, and people were harping on me. I've been saying this before. The second this kid gets the sniffles, Zion's out for the season. I mean, this guy, the talent level that he possesses and the position the Pelicans franchise is in, they can't slip up at all. They have to make sure this guy gets through his rookie season as healthy as possible, which means he's going to have to lose weight, which means if he has, like I said, if he even has the sniffles, he's missing the game. They're resting him. So I just don't predict too much action from Zion, so I don't want to give it to him.
I will say there are 2 players that we kind of need to look at that happened at the end of the lottery that as of right now I think they're both starters. Yeah. And both getting significant minutes. Harrow.
Yes,
Harrow.
I was really close to picking Harrow.
Tyler Harrow in Miami, that's one to look out for.
Yes, I think he's going to be on the radar as well.
Kind of a surprising one right now. P.J. Washington's looking...
Yeah, P.J. Washington looked good in preseason.
P.J. Washington's starting, and as of right now, with 3 minutes left in the first quarter, he scored 9 points.
That's pretty impressive.
That's pretty good.
I honestly, I harped on the Hornets for that pick. I don't like the pick. I thought it was the easiest pick
like it either.
Gone with. I wasn't a fan of it.
Apparently he's good. Whoops.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being wrong in that kind of scenario, but we'll have to see. There definitely are some contenders that we
can talk about Ja at all? We talk about Ja at all?
No, we haven't. See, that's the name that slipped through the cracks this season. We're going to have to see how. I think he's going to be the lost star of this draft. I really do. I didn't think he was all that coming out of college. He was from a small school. He didn't have much competition. He didn't show out well in March Madness when he was against big competition.
I'll say his big thing is where he's going. Yeah. Like he's going to small market, specifically in the West. Yeah. Where there's going to be a lot of other eyes. But then again, that does mean more opportunities for him to
and more talent to go up against throughout the year as well. I mean, you get better by playing with better players.
And I'll say that the Grizzlies roster isn't as depleted
he may have a situation similar to D'Angelo Russell, where his rookie year, people thought, oh, that was a bad pick. He's not going to be too much. But then his sophomore...
I don't think anybody thought the job pick was a bad pick.
Not a bad pick, but I thought, like given the talent level in this draft, there could have been better picks at 2. Like, I think D'Angelo Russell's rookie year, after it, people knew that he was good. People knew that he was eventually probably going to be somewhat of a star in the league. But they thought at the time, who was before him? Like maybe Willie Cauley-Stein could have been a better pick, because they were looking at big men for that Lakers team, and they were all surprised whenever they took a guard to play with Kobe.
Yeah.
So I just we'll have to see. I don't think Ja's going to be in much conversation this year, but I think eventually he'll get it going. Now this is one that I forgot to put in here, but sixth man of the year. We all have picks for it. Who's your sixth man of the year? I believe you two had the exact same one.
Yeah, we're sticking with Lou Williams, right?
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Proven again last night.
Yeah, no, so if he plays like that last night...
I really don't want him to win.
Yeah.
I really don't want him to win. I don't think... I mean, Lou Williams, yes, he is a sixth man, but I really think he's a starter. They put him on the bench so he can win sixth man every year.
That's a fair...
That's literally what I think he is.
That's a fair point, but also he's going to have a Hall of Fame resume because of that.
I know. He's basically another Jamal Crawford. Like, he's a starting caliber player who you're going to put on your bench so he can win an award. Like, that's all I see it.
I was going to say, you're going to look at all those trophies. And
that's
you're
true.
Gonna be like,
he's going to have 4, right?
But if he was a starter, he'd be an all-star. I think he'd have more accolades as a player if he was just a starter. Like, if you just give him the start, he could have been a lot better.
That's a very fair point.
I think Josh Hart should win it. I have a feeling Josh Hart's going to come through this season, and I think Josh Hart's going to be a sneaky defense or sixth man of the year pick. Now, we've saved the best for last, or not the best for last, best award for last, MVP. These two got the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't have the same.
We're on the same page.
Guess. And everybody watching at home, guess.
Yeah, take a wild guess. I'll let y'all think.
It's Giannis.
It's not Giannis. I don't think it's going to be Giannis. But these guys think it's going to be Giannis. I think it's going to be LeBron. I'm feeling a Jordan-esque season here, and I'm feeling a LeBron season.
Okay.
I'm feeling LeBron mania.
All right, so
the headband's back.
Let me explain my reason. I don't know if Sam had the same thing. Whenever I look at this, I look at who's around him. I look at the talent that's around him, and I think that, like, looking at everything else that's going on in the league, you see James Harden, Russell Westbrook. They're literally on the same team now. You have LeBron. LeBron. He also now has Anthony Davis. That's taken away a lot of. And I might argue that one could argue whose team is it as of right now.
Yeah.
You look at where all these all-star, these MVP level players are, and who they have with them. Giannis has Chris Middleton, who's not going to take
Eric Bledsoe, who's out right now.
Who's not going to take MVP votes away from him. Now I might think about Steph Curry for something like that.
Yeah. I can see Steph Curry. Steph Curry's been in a lot of talks right now. He has the show.
KD's gone, not going to have Klay Thompson. Draymond Green's not going to get MVP votes.
No, he's not.
It's his team.
I hope not. I really hope not. I really hope he does it.
No, it's his team again. So that's one. But I'm going with Giannis.
I just think Giannis's resume was built up so much last year because of the media. The media influences so many.
That's my thing.
That's the thing, though. A lot of the narrative there's been a lot of talks as LeBron is the MVP, as Curry is the only 3 talks I've heard in MVP in preseason and in media has been LeBron, Giannis, and Curry. And I think that's the conversation who's going to be all season, and I think that's going to be who the final 3 are.
I think the conversation is going to shift away from LeBron.
Yeah. I really don't think it is. I
think it's going to shift.
If the Lakers continue to play well, I think it's going to be on LeBron.
I think it's going to shift to Anthony Davis, to be honest with you.
I really don't think, especially if LeBron continues to put up his stat line, like his regular career stat line of 27, 7, and 7, or at least around there at 34, 35.
Yeah,
I think that's a bigger headline than a growing Anthony Davis star who you knew was going to be better as he progresses in his career.
People have proven they're tired of the LeBron narrative already. Because he played that game. He played that 18.
I think this is going to be the last year of the. I think this is going to be the closing out of the LeBron era, similar to how Jordan won his MVP when he was 34, 33.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a very similar, mainly because that's just how LeBron's resume has been. It's been very similar to Jordan's group and very similar just in terms of resume and what they're winning. I think given how well he's producing at his age, the stat line or the media headline is going to be LeBron's doing everything again after we thought he was washed up last season, and now he's kicking everyone's butt at 35 and he's looking like Michael Jordan. He's going to MVP. That's the media line I think people are going to go with this year. Because people know Anthony Davis is going to be this good next year and the year after that and the year after that, and he can win MVP the next year. I think this is the last year LeBron's going to have to win an MVP, and I think he's going to take full advantage of it, and the media is going to run with it.
I mean, that's a fair point, but then also one would see, with the Lakers' success, one might contribute that to adding Anthony Davis.
That is true. That is true.
Anthony Davis being the captain.
That is true. I think it all depends on how LeBron plays throughout their success.
Yes.
If he starts averaging like he did last, if he puts up the stat line he did last night, where it's like 18, like 6 and 6,
still good,
still
but,
really good, but not LeBron.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Now we get on to the big award, the champions. Who do we think is going to win? Again, you guys got the same one.
Yes.
I don't. I have mine there for a reason. I'm sticking to my word, as I said in the beginning, our first episode. I'm sticking to what I said.
I respect it. I respect it.
I'm
100%.
sticking to what I said, even though I'm not 100% on it. I have the Houston Rockets. The Rockets is winning it. I really think that this duo, James Harden and Russell Westbrook, is going to shock the league. I really think this team. You took basically the exact same team as last year, and which was already a championship caliber team who just need to get things together in playoffs, and you added a superstar point guard over an all-star point guard, or borderline all-star point guard at that, with Chris Paul falling off. Like you added, in my opinion, top 3 point guard in the league to that team.
You want a hot
along
take?
with
You want a hot take?
First round exit.
Russell Westbrook is traded before the end of the season.
Ooh.
That is a hot take.
Okay.
That wasn't what I was expecting.
I like that. I like it.
That's very interesting.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen either. Where would he go? What, the Timberwolves?
Who knows? I just don't think I don't think they can coexist.
Trade for
I think they already have. I really think they already have. I mean, Russell Westbrook all preseason and offseason has further been like making me happy because he's been saying like people aren't ready for us. This team's going to be insane. You know, I'm fully on board with this. I'm ready to give up whatever I need. Like he looks like he is fully mentally locked in with this team and willing to take a back seat for James Harden. And I'm really looking forward to that. So I have Rockets. These guys.
I will go with another take. It's not really a hot one. I think it's Clippers Rockets in the Western Final.
Ooh, I like that. Because you guys have Clippers.
Yes, we both have.
To clarify, these guys have Clippers as champions.
Yeah, the Clippers last night, obviously, I know one game, they looked good.
They look good. Keep in mind, Paul George is out for the first 2 weeks.
Keep in mind, Paul George is yet to play for this team.
That is true.
And they still look very good, very defensive-minded.
As expected. I mean, that looks like it's going to be the best defensive team ever.
I was going to say the Lakers scored however, like just over 100.
102 points.
Yeah, like just typically doesn't really get it done in an NBA game. And like I said,
and they had all their superstars healthy for that game too.
Yeah, and they've yet to add, Paul George. This team's yet to add Paul George, who
Mr.
not only adds more on offense,
fantasy
but
points.
also on defense.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Hard to not pick the Clippers as
the
champs. I would have, but I'm sticking to my word.
I respect it 100%.
Any comments to add on the Clippers?
It's just watching the Clippers play, like the way they're going to be able to do this. Yeah. I mean, they've got two. If you would put Montrezl Harrell on a different team, he's a Six-Man of the Year candidate. The only reason he's not Six-Man of the Year candidate is because he's playing behind Lou Williams. So in reality, you have a bench that's that deep. And you have players like Patrick Beverly who are always going to be like these motivational guys. You've got guys like Kawhi who are just going to grind through no matter what the situation is. Then, I mean...
With no emotion.
Yeah, with no emotion. And you got Doc Rivers and you got PG. I mean, there's just not much you can do against that.
I agree. Now, aside from these superstars, aside from the awards, aside from the top teams, there are some other guys floating around out there that I think that these top teams should be watching out for. That I think a lot of the teams here that we're going to talk about here are going to sneak up on a lot of people. And so right now we're going to talk about our 5 teams to watch out for this season. Jay, I'll let you go first.
Okay. So my selection for this list were teams that aren't necessarily in that championship, tier, but, could absolutely mess around, make the playoffs, make things exciting. So in no particular order, and I'm going to go back and talk about these each, Hawks, Pelicans, Mavericks, Bulls, and Kings. Now, the Hawks, they got a lot in the draft.
They do.
They got a lot.
They have a fantastic young core.
Yeah, they got
fantastic. I gave him an A+ in my offseason.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, A+.
Adding people like Cam Reddish and
DeAndre Hunter. Who's starting caliber and ready to run.
Also put him alongside John Collins and also alongside Trae Young. Kevin Huerter's good.
Kevin Huerter, yep.
Like this team,
they look scary.
They look very good.
They're probably, in my opinion, they're the scariest young team.
I was going to say, if things...
One of.
If things can go together, I think this team certainly should make the playoffs.
Yes.
If things fit together. The Pelicans, another similar situation. They have a lot of young talent, got a lot in the trade for Anthony Davis, along with Zion, the number 1 pick. Obviously, if he's healthy. You have guys like J.J. Redick that can help, build, like, veteran guys that can help, keep this team together. J.J. Redick, Derek Favors in that same role.
And they got a good mix of young guys and vets that I think will spice it up.
Dallas, yes. We would love to see what this international.
They're on my list. They're on all of our lists.
Yeah.
That's the one team everyone agreed on that Dallas is going to be something. I preached on them last year. I had them 6th seed in the playoffs last year just because of Luka.
Yeah.
With KP, I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, I was going to say add Porzingis in with Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Along with everything else.
I mean, they got a lot of good players that people don't look at. I mean, they got Tim Hardaway Jr.
Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson's still there.
Brunson started peak last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
They're good.
Yes, Chicago, the Bulls. They have Kobe White.
Yes.
They have a lot of interesting stuff. I'm not.
Wendell Carter looked great in the preseason.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say like it's like Hawks light for me.
Yeah.
Like they
the
have a
big
lot of
question
stuff
mark with
where
that
it's like,
team for me is Lauri Markkanen. He's shown flashes of being able to jump to an all-star level of play in his future, but also flashes of like just falling off short of that.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know where he's gonna. I really don't know where he's gonna.
I haven't seen a lot of him and Zach LaVine like working well together.
Yeah, like he was injured for a lot last year too, so it was really hard to tell where he is.
When he's not there, Zach LaVine does really well. When he's in there, sometimes Zach LaVine doesn't do as well.
So like
that's the dynamic the team's gonna have to work on.
And then the Kings, who knows what the Kings are gonna look like?
I really think this year is not going to be good for them. I really think they're just going to get
it's probably
pummeled.
not there in the West,
I think they overpaid Buddy Hield. I really don't think Buddy's worth the money. I really think, even though it's a small market, you have no other choice but to pay him. I understand that. But I really think he's over his head in terms of how much he deserved. I thought he was like a 60, 70 mil guy.
Yeah.
I mean, all he does, granted, he put up 20 points per game last year, but all the guy does is shoot threes. Like that's his only talent. Like outside that, he's average, if not less than average in any other category.
That's fair.
So I don't give him much benefit of the doubt. I think this season the Kings should work on just building Marvin Bagley, because Marvin Bagley could be like, I see superstar potential.
I was getting ready to say, you have De'Aaron Fox, you have Marvin Bagley.
You have Marvin Bagley. You know De'Aaron Fox is going to be good about it. He's going to be an all-star.
We don't really know what the Kings are going to be about, but this is the type of team that could very much, mess around, and then, you get that alert and you see like, they're, playing the Clippers to a close game, playing the Lakers to a close game, playing the Rockets to a close game. Like, I feel like you're going to get a lot of that with the Kings.
They're a team that could like pour on points in one night and just blow a team out.
Yeah. Now you had pretty much, you guys have been on the same wavelength all episode, but you guys had pretty much all the same teams except for one, and your one is someone who I was praying someone would say, because I didn't have enough spots on my list to fit them. You said the Jazz.
Yeah, I said the Jazz. And
Please talk about the Jazz for me. I'd love to hear it.
I don't think the Jazz are a team that you consider like a championship level team at this point, but
I think they are.
I think they are.
I think they are. They can definitely compete for a championship this year.
I think they're going to mess some teams up. I think you've got Mike Conley, who's going to take some of the pressure off Donovan Mitchell, which has been the issue in the past.
Who's been an all-star level point guard as well his entire career.
And just never got it because
it's the West.
Yeah, it's just how it is.
It's the West.
There's like 20 all-star point guards.
When you're going up against Damian Lillard, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, I can just say every
Steph
name.
Curry,
And it's like
you can't do it.
I'm just not going to get the
Never
votes.
been an all-star. Devin Booker's never been an all-star.
Exactly. Like D'Angelo Russell won't get it this year because he's in the West.
Yeah, no, of course not.
But continue.
But you take some pressure off of Donovan Mitchell, who I think is a really good player. I really like him. You've already got Rudy Gobert kind of defending on the inside. He's very limited offensively, but I think you're all right. If you have Mike Conley and guys like that, you can kind of make up for that.
Yeah.
You've got Joe Ingles, some guys who can shoot around him. And you just got a team to me that has shooting some nights, because they still have inconsistencies. A lot of that, again, has to do with Donovan Mitchell. But they have a good coach. They've got a good base.
I think they cover all the bases you need for a championship team, in my opinion. I mean, you have three-point shooting, you have defense, you have a big man, you have a good coach, and you have an insanely deep bench.
Yeah.
So I think this team's I really think this team can compete for a championship.
My biggest issue is that star power is like, it's a question of depth versus star power, in my opinion. Because like,
I think they got both. I mean, you got you have three all-star level players in your starting lineup, and you have at least 2 to 3 starters on your backup line.
But how does that compare to a Kawhi Leonard, PG, Lou Williams kind of team where you've got two guys who
I think depth-wise, they have the best depth in the league.
Potentially, but I'm saying
star power-wise, I don't know if that'll balance out with the Clippers.
You got Kawhi, who's an MVP caliber player if he plays enough games a season. Paul George, who last season was like averaging 28 points. He could have been a defensive player and MVP last year if things swung the right way and he didn't get injured in the last second. So
that's fair.
It's kind of a situation where I'm like, Yeah, the other guys got some bigger guns than you in this case.
I think they're the sleeper team championship-wise of the year. My list is different. My list is pretty much all different teams except for Dallas. I had Dallas, and like I said, I preached about Dallas all last season. I thought Luka was going to change that entire team, and he really did. Even though the West was so competitive, he couldn't really climb. This year, he has the team to climb, and I really think this team could slip into a 5 through 8 seed. I really think they could, probably somewhere around like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
But I think they're good enough to be somewhere in 5 through 8. But aside from that, I also have OKC for the plain reason they are a make or break team for me on this list. Only if they decide to keep what they have. Because if you look at their roster, they have a good team right now. Despite what everyone says, they got Danilo Gallinari, who averaged nearly 20 points per game last year. They got Chris Paul, who's Chris Paul.
Still there.
Steven Adams, who has a chance to produce way more now that Russell's gone. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who could, like you said earlier, could possibly compete for MIP. You still got Dennis Schroeder and Nerlens Noel on the bench. Billy Donovan's not the best coach, but he can manage with talent, and he always has.
Yep.
So I really think it's all a matter of what this Thunder team wants to do. They can go and compete. Not compete, but they can go and fight out a lowest seed playoff spot, just, whether it be to keep fans interested in it or something, like maybe compete for a low playoff seed to get fans interested and then make a big offseason trade with all the assets you have. Because they have enough picks and everything to rebuild where they are right now and keep their team together. But, if Chris Paul wants to leave, then they have to do that. If Danilo Gallinari wants to leave, then they have to kind of accommodate to that. So it's really a make or break on why I had them. But I do think this team is good enough to mess up some team schedules. Now, I also have the Pistons and the Pacers. Pacers, I can see once Victor Oladipo is healthy, I can really see that team being a top 3, top 2 team in the East. Like, that team is really deep. They have 2 really good big men. They traded for T.J. Warren, he's a points producer. Malcolm Brogdon and Jeremy Lamb, who they picked up in the offseason. They have another really, really good squad that no one's been talking about in the offseason. And once Victor is healthy, I really think this team can go far. Because you look, the big piece for me with this team is Malcolm Brogdon. Yeah. Malcolm Brogdon was the engine that made that Bucks team run last year. Like, you look at what that team looked like without Malcolm Brogdon on the court. They were not the 1 seed last year. They were a 4 seed, in my opinion. That Malcolm Brogdon had that much of an impact because he does all the little things right, and he puts the effort in that no one really looks at on the stat sheet. That doesn't show up on the stat sheet. He'll go for 50-50 balls. He sits there and he'll move around. He moves off his feet. He doesn't stay in one position. He's the definition of a perfect role player, in my opinion. So I really think that the Pacers can really do some damage in the East. And then the Pistons, I really think if Blake Griffin can stay healthy all season, they can also do a lot of damage too. You look at the team they have. They picked up Sekou Doumbouya, who I think is a really good pick because they don't really have a strong small forward. Christian Wood looked fantastic in the preseason.
Andre Drummond's still there. You got Derrick Rose, who, if he stays healthy, he puts up 18, 20 points per game.
They have a decent team too. You got Reggie Jackson is backup point guard or starting shooting guard now?
Yeah,
he's still there. Like, they aren't a bad team. I think a lot of East teams have been overlooked this season just because of how good the West looks. And finally, this is the number 1 team that I think teams should look out for, and that's the Heat. Miami Heat stocked up on stocked up on an all-star this season in Jimmy Butler. He wants to be a superstar. He's not a superstar, but he's an all-star for sure. And they drafted a very, very underrated rookie in Tyler Herro, who I really think is going to pop off and move Jimmy Butler to small forward and let him start shooting guard. I think that'd be great for him. You still have Goran Dragic on that team. You have Bam Adebayo, who's coming out of his shell, who gets starting minutes. Derrick Jones Jr., who again also looked very good in the preseason. Justice Winslow, who's starting to take over the point guard position, which worked really well for this Heat team last year. He went from averaging 10 points and 2 rebounds to basically a nobody stat line to 14, 4, and 7. At point guard, and there was a massive increase last year. And I really think if they run with Winslow there, I think this Heat team could slip in, even if Jimmy Butler wants to stay healthy. He's not playing tonight. No. He's not. If you haven't looked, he's not playing on the first night. Yeah, personal reasons.
Very personal reasons.
But he's not playing for the first night. But I really think if he stays healthy and this team stays together, they could sneak into 5, 4, somewhere in that 4 to 6 seeding range in the playoffs and do some damage. So that's who I got. Definitely look out for all of these teams that everyone said here. Should definitely be on teams' radars, look out for radars, I think. But overall, I'm just happy the NBA is back, guys. I really am. I've been really bored. I'm really excited to have the NBA back
I'm
and
excited
get back to this.
I'm excited for a season of calm and rational discussion.
Exactly.
About NBA basketball, particularly about the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm very excited for calm, reasonable discussion from everybody, both in person and online. I'm very excited for that.
Okay. Well, either way, we are process this where it's not conversational. Sorry, it's confrontational. Either way, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been another episode of Process This. I've been your host, Patrick O'Neill, and we will see you guys next episode. Thank you.